This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
And I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hey, Jason Glick, what's going on, man?
Hey, John. It's everything's going fine. In fact, we kind of enjoyed WandaVision, didn't we?
Yeah, sure did.
Yeah. And much like a lot of Marvel Marvel Cinematic Universe stuff that comes out through Disney, it's got a lot of different or origins for from the comics. It's like it's you could say that it's got it's like some of Tom King's vision. It's got some of Bendis. It's like Bendis's House of M in there. But I guess if there's like one series that people were talking about in terms of, you know, like what series it was adapting, you could probably say that it kind of like drew a lot from John Byrne's Vision Quest storyline and the issues that followed from it as well. And this is from his run on West Coast Avengers or Avengers West Coast because it changed its name like partway through his run. And well, I guess like I should probably talk a bit about Byrne first because he is a guy that well, like in the close to 13 years I've been doing this podcast, his is not a name that has come up a whole lot, even though he's like done some incredible contributions to superhero comics over the years. I mean, he along with Chris Claremont helped give us the Dark Phoenix saga, the Proteus saga, and Days of Future Past. It's like in Uncanny X-Men. He had a legendary run for like 5 years on Fantastic Four in the early '80s, and then after that he left to reinvent Superman for the modern era with Man of Steel and the two Superman titles that followed, as well. Though that period, for him, was kind of like he can do no wrong. Byrne was on fire. And his name was just enough to sell so you were buying a quality superhero comic there. And after that, though, well, it's not that his fire immediately went out, but also if he did after that, didn't quite rise to the same level of acclaim. He had runs on on this title Avengers, Avengers West Coast. He came back to X-Men for a bit after after Claremont left. And then he also helped went on to found Legend, the creator-owned imprint at Dark Horse, with Frank Miller. It's like Frank Miller, Mike Mignola, and Art Adams among others, and gave us the next X-Men series. And well, Byrne eventually hit a wall when he gave us Spider-Man Chapter 1. It's a series that was meant to reinvigorate Spider-Man in the dark days of the Clone Saga, but it didn't. But Byrne's additions to Spidey's origin weren't really appreciated. And well, nothing he did after that kind of really clicked or had seen level of claim. Yeah, he did New Gods for DC. He even went back to Superman for a stint. He did. He even drew Spider-Man for the monthly titles for a while. And also did a return, did a stint on the Hulk, and nothing really clicked, sadly. And also Byrne has subsequently revealed himself as a guy who's really willing to fight fans and popular media in terms of how these characters are meant to be interpreted. Because he believes very strongly in what original creators like Jack Kirby did on them, and he will definitely fight people in public on message boards about this. And let's say that he's also got some interesting ideas about homosexuality and transgender people. So, well, so Byrne is a guy who's definitely done some amazing stuff in the past, but who's much like Frank Miller, his worthiness kind of decreases on a "what have you done for us lately" scale. So, but the series I'm talking about, his like the 10 issues or so from his start of his run on West Coast Avengers. Well, this is basically it kind of forms the basis of a, informs a lot of stuff that was done on on WandaVision. So just like you remember that scene when we started to see what Vision looked like after he'd been disassembled. Well, it's like there's a big scene like that. It's like there's a big scene like at the end of his second issue. It's like which was let me see real quick. Yes, number 43, which like definitely informed that particular shot. Oh, and Wanda's kids. It's like well, it's like we get like we get some look at like what they it's like what they were like and how they were like perceived to be not real. It's like over the course of that series too. It's like it's oh, and also that whole white vision thing that is done directly from the climax of the 4 issue Vision Quest arc, which kicked off Burns' run. And well, it's like while I wasn't able to find anything to support this, it's like it's like Burns' predilection for it's like trying to like get characters back to like what they were originally like like before other creators had imposed their visions on them. Well, that feels like it's kind of in place here in the sense that he's that these issues specifically like West Coast Avengers numbers 42 to 53 are all about disassembling it's like Wanda Maximoff and the Vision's relationship. It's like and just like kind of like disassembling like Wanda's life, like in particular, to the point where he was setting things up to do a Dark Scarlet Witch storyline before, well, personality conflicts, like eventually like saw him quit the title early. So there you go. But as far as these 12 issues go from 42 to 53, which you can read on Marvel Unlimited. And because, hey, it's like, yes, I am basing this on the reading list that was proposed by the app. But, and yes, you can get this in one, it's like in one in one paperback volume called Vision Quest, but also includes a lot of like extraneous stuff, including the first couple issues by Steve Englehart, a couple annuals, which don't add much to things. And well, I was like, I kind of just appreciate based on what I read here, I really wasn't in the mood to read like a whole lot more like after this because the first issue basically starts with Wanda waking up and realizing that the Vision isn't there, and it turns out that he's disappeared from the Avengers compound, and that oh wait, before they can discover what's happened, Ultron has showed up and he's gonna fight the Avengers because this is something that happens. It's like Ultron, big A-list, like almost indestructible, like Avengers foe, shows up to fight them. Only it's not him. It's just distraction to distract them from the fact that someone has like erased all the information they have on the Vision from the West Coast Avengers compound. Now it's worth noting that the West Coast Avengers, aside from Scarlet Witch, like also consists of Hawkeye, the Wasp, Hank Pym, Giant Man, and let's see. Oh, and Wonder Man and Tigra. Tigra, who, well, let's just say she's getting more feline throughout these entire issues to the point where like she can barely be recognized as human. So that's all that goes through here. And Wonder Man, well, oh god, we'll get back to him in a bit. Well, it's like when they realize that someone's someone's wiped the information about the Vision from their from their hard drives. Well, then Mockingbird, Hawkeye's ex-wife, shows up to let everyone know that she might be responsible for this. That's the cliffhanger ending from the first issue. And then the second issue basically consists of like Mockingbird explaining everything, and even one of the characters calling her out on the fact that why did you show up at the end of the first issue? It's like explain like acting like a villain right there. It's like I and her response is just kind of like I was just kind of like confused after all like the things I've been through, because apparently she was kidnapped by she was initially recruited by Shield to find a way to deal with the Vision should he ever try and take over all the world's computers, which is what we're told he did like several issues prior. And well, it turns out that she was lied to, and that, like, she was not recruited by Shield. She was recruited by a multinational intelligence operation, basically that was like Canadian, Australian, British, like Russian, to basically find a way to wipe the Vision. It's like, and like deal with, it's like, and I'm like basically like get rid of any information that he may have come up with during his time as when he tried to like assimilate all the world's data and all. So what happens after that? Well, they get the Vision back, but he's just kind of a blank slate. And well, like one like Terminator-esque fight with a resurrected Vision later. It's like, well, he's now he's been restored to his former self, only in a sense that, well, it's like Hank Pym put every part back where it was supposed to go, and then it's like, well, it's like turns out that even though he was able to restore all the data the Vision had, he wasn't able to restore the Vision's connection to it. So even though he knows he's like the wife of the Scarlet Witch, he actually doesn't have any emotional connection to it because he's missing the one of the key components of his creation, which is the brain patterns from Wonder Man. And Wonder Man doesn't want to give these up because even though he can't confess this to the Scarlet Witch, he's kind of fallen in love with her. It's like, and he realizes that if he gives these brain patterns back to the Vision, it's like, well, that's kind of more competition for what he wants. And if you think that sounds like kind of a dick move, yeah, you're right. It definitely doesn't help any guy named Wonder Man, which, oh God, I know that there are some characters like between DC and Marvel that share names, like Captain Marvel being like the biggest thing in them, but Wonder Man, you just can't hear that name and think, oh yeah, you're like the male version of like Wonder Woman, which no, he's not. He's significantly different. But it's like you just can't really take that seriously, and any attempt to like try to, I guess, try to portray him as like having like the depth like this, like it's just gonna misfire. It's just like you make him seem unlikable when you already think he's kind of a joke because his name's Wonder Man. Yeah, so basically anything that poor Simon Williams, which is Wonder Man's real name, like goes through here, just feels like really ridiculous and silly. And to be honest, that's true of a lot of stuff like in this run. It's like it just feels like it feels like kind of the boilerplate silliness that if you were trying to like create a parody of superhero comics, this is what you'd see. Like characters like blatantly stating their emotion, their emotions. It's like talking about like fully recapping things. It's like lampshading certain plot twists. It really kind of feels like even though I can understand like say Garth Ennis hates superheroes, a lot of the shit that he was lampooning superheroes for in the course of The Boys, well, you can kind of see what he was getting at here with it's like with these issues. It's like they're just like very straightforward. It's like unironic like superhero drama like from the late 80s, and it's like maybe I can understand like some of this probably hit a lot harder like in that era. Reading things today, it's just kind of like no, especially when we start to get to things like That Which Endures, which is meant to be a like a million-year-old life form that is like that has been guiding evolution like since the dawn of time. It's like, and sees humans as a dead end, and wants to use Homo superior mutants as a as its next leg to the to the future. And well, it's like their it's their avatars basically see the Scarlet Witch like as a means to do that. And yeah, it's so we get it's like so like yeah, it's like if that wasn't enough, well, it's like if I'm losing her husband wasn't enough, well, Scarlet Witch has to serve as a vehicle for a million-year-old bacterial conspiracy to to usurp humanity. Oh, and if that wasn't enough, well, it turns out that her boys, Tommy and Billy, that she had with the Vision, well, it turns out that they weren't real after all. In fact, they're actually vehicles for the souls for the soul for the split up soul of Mephisto that Master Pandemonium was trying to track down, under the impression that he thought they were parts of his soul that Mephisto had stolen as well. Oh, and it turns out in order to really freak the Scarlet Witch out, he turns her sons into parts of his arms, because that's kind of Pandemonium's whole deal. He's got demon arms. It's like, and they make it's like, and they can assume demon forms, which he uses her sons to do. And to be honest, I think that the best use of Pandemonium's demon arms was in Jason Aaron's Ghost Rider's Heavens on Fire, when we meet a broken down Pandemonium who's trying to eat breakfast, but it turns out his demon arms are just calling him yo, you suck, you're so lame. And I think that it's hard to take someone who's got human babies as arms, or just any kind of sentient things as arms, seriously. And that's really kind of true here, even though it's it kind of, we do get a bit where Mephisto kind of dips his toes into the main storyline here, which, if you've been reading reading the blog, you'll notice that, hey, Mephisto is kind of being set up by Jason Aaron to be the main big bad of Avengers runs. Well, the reason I appreciated that so much is because usually when Mephisto crosses path to the Avengers, it's like this. It's he's just doing something off to the side that kind of intersects with their plan, but then they're eventually able to deal with him within an issue or two, and as it's done here. And if you're also thinking that, hey, wait a second, weren't Vision, Wanda and the Vision's kids eventually revealed to be Wiccan and and Speed in the Young Avengers? Weren't they Billy and Tommy in WandaVision? Well, yeah, they were. But reading up on this, oh my god, it's the level of retconning that writer Alan Heinberg had to do over the course of his New Avengers run. Sorry, his initial Young Avengers run, and then the Children's Crusade. It's kind of wow. It's I am glad I didn't follow that all the way through, because man, these hoops that he was having to jump through are insane. It's we're talking souls being sent back into kids before they were born. I mean, that level of retconning stuff. And yeah, it's that this is kind of the stuff you can expect to see over the course of these 10 issues from 42 to 53. It's in West Coast Avengers. Oh, and it's also worth mentioning that at one point, the West Coast Avengers are forced to take on a new member by their handler in in Washington, because the Avengers operate with the permission of the U.S. government at this time. And well, turns out that the person they've been assigned as their leader, it's someone who's actually making his MCU debut as we speak. Be John Walker, the U.S. agent. Because, well, spoiler warning, if you're watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier, well, it's John Walker. Well, he doesn't stay Captain America forever. It's he eventually becomes U.S. agent, who's basically it's Captain America, only a little more crazy, a lot more fascist. That's kind of essentially what he's shown to be here. And even though like there's some points when he does kind of like help everyone to do the right thing, he's still maybe for instance being like kind of a grade A dick. It's like as far as these things go, it's it's like seeing the series just like seeing him in this series just kind of like I guess a happy coincidence as far as these things go. It's like that he's showing up, he's making his Marvel Universe debut here, but overall it's like the whole Vision Quest storyline and its subsequent issues. It's like on the reading list, like basically the whole 42 to 53. It's like it's silly, it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, I've read enough of these kinds of comics to like acknowledge to recognize, oh hey, this is kind of like this was the style of the time. This is like what comics were like in the it's like in the late 80s coming into the 90s. And it's like I'm glad they got better. It's like it's like at some point I do feel I need to like sit down and read through Byrne's run on Fantastic Four, because it's held up as like one of the all-time definitive runs like on the title. But like his work on like Avengers West Coast, well, it's like not terrible, but really only of interest like if you're desperately into like reading the stories and that directly inspired like all these Marvel Cinematic Universe productions. As it is, it's like you can probably do better things with your time. It's like reading this, it's like I don't know. It's like I said, it's like it felt like parts of it like felt deeply silly, like deeply soap operatic in a way that didn't endear themselves to me. It kind of felt like this is the kind of stuff that a young Garth Ennis would read and think that, oh man, I'm gonna go back to reading my my war comics like about this guy in Vietnam who stole a plane off a U.S. aircraft carrier. It's like escaped all these dumb Americans to find his son. So yeah, there's varying levels of dumbness here, but overall, it's like I don't know. It's like I think that WandaVision did a better job of like incorporating like the stuff that was done here, like in like for its more modern sensibilities. Will we be saying the same things about it 10 or 20 years from now? Who knows? Probably not. But well, at least I can give WandaVision credit for successfully assimilating these these plot bits and making them relevant, like at least in our present day, succeeding as opposed to like failing into making them relevant. So there you go. John, it's like assuming you haven't fallen asleep yet. Any thoughts on your end about all this?
Oh, you woke me up, man. What's wrong with you? Um,
I know you haven't had your nap. I know you're cranky.
no. Well, um, yeah, that's one of those things like, yesterday's comics inspired tomorrow's story writers. So, it's clearly a borrowed concept for the WandaVision TV series. So, you know, and yeah, a product of its time is a phrase I use a lot when you're talking about like some of the older material. So I would say that probably falls right into that category. Um, you know, comics have gone from almost like two-dimensional to four-dimensional, in a lot of ways, as they've progressed through the years. So that's my 2 cents on it, at least.
Okay, so it's like, it's like I don't know. It's like I like I said, I mean, if you've got like Marvel Unlimited like I do, then it's like it's worth reading for free. Do I think you should like check out the Epic collection that collects the storyline? Nah.
All right. Well, there you go. Do you know what you're going to be talking about next time?
Well, I will either be talking about DC's like latest universe melting extravaganza, or there may be a certain Jim Henson movie that I need to watch in order to give some proper context for this 3-volume series that I picked up when Amazon was doing a buy 2 get 1 free sale. See what I did there?
Yes, I did.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. All right. We'll catch you next time on Comic Picks by the Click.
All right. Laters.